I feel like all of us have gone through the same stages of getting a haircut. The first stage consists of one of your parents taking you to a random barber, and they also choose your haircut for you. Some common cuts that I had and saw growing up were like different variations of buzz cuts, bowl cuts, or just any cut where it was short on the sides and a bit longer on the top. These types of cuts, I had them from when I popped out the womb until I was like around 10 or 11 years old. Once you reach like grade 5 or 6, that's when people started to choose different types of haircuts of their own. You got the infamous side part or bowl cut for Asians, the high top or just short hair for black people, and the crew cut or bowl cut again for white people. Once you get around to the start of high school, that's when I feel like most people evolve from the side parts, bowl cuts, high tops, like those type of haircuts, to even better or sometimes even worse haircuts. The Asians would start getting perms and 16 guards, the Hispanics would start to get Edgars, the black kids would start to experiment with locks and braids, and white kids would get either mullets or the infamous fluffy hair or ice cream hair. And from this stage going onward, there might be a sudden urge to just buzz all of your shit off and start a new arc, but it might just end up leaving you looking chopped as fuck. And if you don't end up getting a buzz cut, you have probably found a haircut that suits you, and you probably have a good go-to barber that will not cook your shit. Throughout all the stages of getting a haircut, there has been at least one time where you ask specifically for some type of fade on the sides and a little bit off the top, and the barber just fucks your shit up. There was this one time in 2021 where my hair was probably the longest it's ever been, and if you know, during 2020 to 2021 it was very difficult to get a cut because we were all stuck inside, bruh. After like a week or two of school opening back up, my hair was still hella long and I was desperate for a cut. So on a Saturday morning, I checked if the barber that I usually went to was available, and to my surprise, he was not. And I forgot to mention this earlier, not only was my hair long as hell, getting into my eyes and shit, but I also had a perm. Yeah bro, I really saw those straight hair to perm transformations on TikTok, and I really thought I could start pulling more girls after I got a perm. And if you have gotten a perm before, it grows out in like the worst way possible, because your hair is gonna be wavy or curly at the ends, but straight at the roots. So you just look like a mushroom or just like the head of a dick. So yeah bruh, I needed a cut desperately. I searched up barbers near me on Google Maps, and I ended up finding one at the mall close to my house. And without checking any of the reviews, I went to the mall and pulled up to the barber shop. One thing I noticed about this spot that started giving me bad vibes was that a majority of the customers and the workers at the shop were women. And most of them weren't even getting haircuts, they were getting like some type of dye or hair treatment. When I saw this, I was like, bruh, I'm not trying to be sexist or nothing, but you know what I mean? Like the odds of them knowing how to do a mid blowout taper with a textured fringe would be pretty low. And amongst the female workers, there was this old dude working there at the very back of the shop. And I saw him cutting this little white kid's hair, and once the kid's cut was finished, he had like a crew cut but with like a flat ass fringe. When I saw this, I was like, yeah, GG's, he's fucking my shit up for show. And after that, he then called me over. Looking back now, I should have just trusted my gut and just walked right out the store, but at the same time, I was insanely desperate to get my hair out of my eyes and just get it cut shorter, bro. I walked over and took a seat in front of one of the mirrors, and he asked me what haircut I wanted. And of course, I hit him with the classic, just the mid fades on the sides and back and just a small trim on the top. Throughout the duration of the cut, there were several signs that this barber had no idea what the fuck he was doing. Even when I was communicating to him about what cut I wanted, it sounded like he barely knew English. And when he started working on the fade, the clippers felt hot as fuck. Like it felt like I was getting burned, bro. And the motion he was doing with the clippers while he was doing the fade just didn't feel right either. During the fade, he would also blow hard as fuck on my face to get rid of some excess hair or some. I don't know, it was the first time I experienced that. And when he started cutting the top, he ran his fingers through my hair pulled it up and he cut like way more than half of it off. After this moment, I just accepted my fate, bro. By the time the old guy finished the cut, he asked me if it was good, and I said, yeah, good, yep, nice. I'ma try to find some pictures that somewhat resembled my cut, but I pretty much had like a short ass fringe swayed to the side, with the fade on one side being higher than the fade on the other side, and there was also no fade at all on the back. Like, I looked hideous, bruh. I remember going home after the cut and my mom's reaction to it was like, wow, your haircut is so good, you look so good. And bruh, if your mom or grandma or just any person that's over the age of 40 tells you that your haircut looks good, what that actually means is that your shit is cooked and you should probably get a buzz, bruh. I remember going to the mirror in the bathroom and I started tearing up because of how ass my cut was, bro. 2 days later on Monday, it was time to pull up to school with my chopped ass haircut. And you already know, people were like, bro, what happened? Who did this to you? Why'd you cut off the perm? I like your cut, G. And I was getting roasted pretty much, but it was by the homies though, so it was all good. After a long day of feeling chopped as hell at school, I hopped on the school bus to get back home. The school bus I would take would travel on the same road for like the entirety of the trip, and I lived like 35 minutes away. And around the halfway point of the trip, the bus would stop at this other high school to pick up more students. Usually when the bus would stop at the high school, I would turn the music in my earphones all the way up because the students that would hop on the bus were usually loud and ratchet as hell. Once all the students were on the bus, and after a couple minutes of driving, there was this girl with red hair sitting like maybe 5 or 6 seats in front of me, and she looked back at me as well. I took a quick glance at her and I didn't really think anything of it, but I did feel her staring at me, or at least just looking in my general direction. Even though I noticed this, I just looked out the window, zoned out, just listening to my music at full volume. And it was 2021, bruh, so I might have had some of that Prime Cash Dami, 𝐒𝐕, SSG Kobe blasting at full volume in my ear. Usually when I'm one stop away from my bus stop, I would always remove my earphones and put them back in my bag. But when I took them off this time, there was a group of guys sitting across from me, and one of them was like, yo, bro, are you good? Like, they sounded concerned, but they were low-key laughing at the same time. And to this, I was like, yeah, bro, why? And the guy said, bro, that chick was saying some crazy shit about you. And I was like, I don't know, bro, I was just listening to my music. And from there, I just hopped off the bus and started walking home. And now that I think of it, that was like the first and only time in my whole life where I genuinely got bullied. Like, I don't even know what she said, but apparently she said some crazy ass shit, most likely about my haircut or just like my whole appearance. Because when I had my perm or just any other regular cut, that shit has never happened to me before, bro. And to top it off, it wasn't even kids from my own school. When I arrived home, I hopped on Google and I gave and wrote a 1-star review to that very barbershop or salon or whatever it was. I remember I wrote something along the lines of, that old worker with the mustache and glasses, and ooh, bruh, I said the race of the guy as well. Like, I was describing him in full detail. So after I gave the description of what he looks like, I said, he needs to be fired immediately because he gave me the worst haircut of my life that caused me to get bullied. And from that day onwards, I'd never cheated on my barber again, and I always checked the Google reviews of any establishment before I end up going to it. Getting a horrible cut is a canon event for every guy. Like, every guy has to experience something like this at least once before they evolve into a full-grown man. And since this video is about haircuts, I will be giving myself a buzz cut at 100k if we even ever end up hitting it. And I will let you guys choose a hair dye color of your choice as well. Peace.
I just been this bad bitch over, it's expensive, guess I'm smoking, you could tell just by the odor, yeah.